Yo, hey, what's happening? Lollapalooza 2015. You know what I'm saying? Mitchell Ness Artist VIP Lounge, and my friend Logic's here. How are you?
Swag, I'm good.
Yo, man, first of all, congrats on life.
Thank you. Thanks for this hat, too.
Yeah, the hat's swagful. You wanted to Chicago it out. You said when you came here, like, you felt like, even though you're a DC kid.
Yes, Maryland.
Maryland,
I'm
sorry.
from Maryland, but...
So you specify that. When people ask, you don't say DC.
Yeah, because I love DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but I'm from Maryland.
Yeah, no, we should rep it. We're from Montgomery County.
Yeah, I love Maryland. But Chicago is the second home to me. This is the first city the first time I ever went on tour. It was me and my homies in this truck, and Chicago was the first city I ever sold out. I sold out Reggie's.
Really?
It's incredible.
So this is a special market for you.
Oh, extremely, 100%.
Also, congratulations, you're getting married soon.
I am, thank you.
Is this like public knowledge? Does everyone know this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't super keep it secret, you know what I mean? But there's levels, you know, and I always tell people when they kind of ask me, I always bring up this, you remember Cribs?
Yes.
There's an episode with Mariah Carey. She shows her whole ballin' ass penthouse in New York, and it's incredible, and she at the very end of the episode, she's at her bedroom, and she doesn't let you go in, and she ends the episode there. She says, I put my life on the record, I'm in the tabloids, I'm here, I've invited you into my home. This bedroom is the one thing that's mine. So it's like, I talk about my relationship, you know, whatever, but there's an extent to what I do because, as I was saying before the cameras turned on, that's my escape from music, that's my escape from all this, you know, glitz and whatever the hell. I just go to her and I'm normal, and that's something that I don't necessarily want the world to have.
Do you post her on your Instagram?
Not as much. Probably when we get married, I will. Just more, yeah, just a little more. Because then it's like, I mean, I'm proud of this woman. You know what I mean? But it's like,
how hard do girls go for you to try to tempt you?
Well, it's like, no, I'm just kidding. Like, of course, I rap. You know what I mean? But I'm.
Yeah, you're commanding a stage. The bottom line is you're a dude on stage with 5,000 people, kind of eating out of the palm of your hand. That is very attractive to people.
But I would never want to be with a woman who would want to be with me based off that. You know what I mean? That's like gross. And hey. No, there's no shame in the game. If there's people out there doing it, get it. You know what I mean? But me personally,
it just doesn't do it for you.
It just doesn't do it for me because it's like this chick, whether she knows who I am or she doesn't know who I am, and she sees me on stage, and then it's like, get out of my face.
Now, hold on. Do you ever have a moment where, like, I feel the same way. Like, I love, my wife is very humbling to me. She will put, I mean, all she does is put me in my place. I mean, come on, I'm a Jewish husband. Like, I spend my time constantly fighting my way out of the doghouse. Are there ever moments when, like, you have that moment where like you appreciate it so much, but in the second you're like, God, everyone else treats me, because people do make it easy for you. Let's be honest. There are other times in your life when people at this point, it's like, hey, do you want this? Do you want that? Blah blah. And then you get home, and if you're in the doghouse, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing for you. You're just the husband at home who messed up.
That's pretty amazing. However, I believe in communication. So obviously everybody goes through it. They have arguments, you have fights, you have falling outs, you have whatever the case may be. But I just love to talk. I love to talk, you know, and she's the kind of person that's like, she's not passive aggressive, but she doesn't like confrontation. So I just do my best to just be extremely calm and have a conversation. If she's upset about something or I'm upset about something, I just like to just talk.
Does she ever think you're, like the same way I've told you when I met you, I thought you were like too nice to be true?
Yeah.
Does she ever think you're too nice and easygoing? Is she ever like, geez, or do you sometimes actually, in your personal life, are you more easily bent out of shape than you are publicly? Because when I see you out, you never are anything but just even. You are a very even guy.
Well, yeah, I think behind the scenes, I definitely lay down the law. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot that I do, and even though I have my manager, Chris, and I have all these people who handle it, there's a lot of shit. I own my own business, and I have my own business, so it's like, yeah, I mean, I be getting into it, I be having phone calls that sometimes I don't want to have, and I have to tell people shit I got to tell them. But it's always from a good place, you know? I'm never like, fuck you and blah, blah, blah. It's always just like, all right, everybody actually jokes, they make fun of me, because whenever I want to talk to somebody, I'm like, can I talk to you for a second? So like, everybody's always like,
oh God, so I know. So so you put out a record and I comment on it, and I get the call where you're like, yo, Rosenberg, can I talk to you for a second?
Not even, I'll just go on Twitter, hashtag, can I talk to you?
There you go.
That's gonna be it.
What did the album end up selling?
I think 300,000 domestically so far, which is good. But, you know, and obviously there were ups and downs with the label, but hip hop is in a renaissance. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you know, the pop stars, people like Sinatra, you know, Bing Crosby, Elvis, all these people, it was all about the vinyl, it was all about the single, you know what I mean? Then you get into the 50s, 60s, all the way up, I believe, into the early 2000s, and it was the album. creating an album. There's always been the one-hit wonders and the people who do singles, and then it was about actually creating this cohesive body of work. And then as of recently, you know, in probably mid-2000s up till now, it's ringtones, singles are super big again. And so I feel like you have certain artists, like I do my best to do it, Kendrick, Cole, Drake, you know, there's some people out there that really do their best to put together incredible albums. Atmosphere, I mean, I could go on, don't get me wrong, Run the Jewels, Killer Mike, like, there's a lot of people, but not like it was, you know what I mean, where people were creating this body of work. So,
Did Def Jam figure it out? Do
they
they know yet? Because I was at the show, and it was hilarious to me. Shout out to all my friends at Def Jam, seeing everyone there. And you know, you and I I've been following along for a long time. So I'm like, oh, welcome to the party. Y'all didn't know there's a real thing happening over here.
But they're awesome, man. And there's different levels to the building and all this, and we're all on the same page, especially moving forward, you know, because I've been working on new music.
So in other words, they did get the message. They obviously saw talent in you, they wouldn't give him the opportunity.
Of course.
But then they may have been, no idea, of course, did his job, but he has to convince a whole building to understand what this is. But my point is, by the time you were doing these shows and you sold what you sold, other people have caught wind of like, oh wow, we have something special.
Of course, yeah. You know, I hope that's what they think. You know, and it's like, it's just different. It's like, you know, when somebody's selling millions and millions of singles, it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. But maybe they can't sell albums, and then they're like, oh, okay, well here's this kid who is selling albums. You know what I mean? So it just they just had to shift their focus. And now, oh my God, from Visionary Music Group, because that's what it is. It's Visionary Music Group. That's the independent. You know what I mean? And we, you know, put everything together, but it is a true partnership. And now more than ever, Def Jam is like on board. They're excited. They're like, and we've been talking, we've been taking meetings. Things are great.
No, I believe me. If there's one person who I know well in the music business, who they were to ask me, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I know where the story's going, and I'm very confident. However, I know I just said you're very patient. You're very even. Are you ready to be thrown in the conversation with all these other dudes who are at the top that you just mentioned? Like, you need to be called out on Control. You know what I'm saying? Are you like you have to? Does that competitive part of you get in there yet? Like people need to start having this conversation about what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. But it takes time, man. You know, because like I did on my first album, it was literally me talking about my household, the things I went through, and all this. I didn't even talk about being black and white. I wanted to leave all that extra shit aside and just talk about who I am as a person and an artist. You know what I mean? And so I did it, and I think it was received well by music lovers and my fans. And then ever since it's grown and grown and grown. But honestly, it didn't receive what I wanted it to receive, I guess, in the, not commercial, but the more, I don't know how to explain it, but things are shifting more and more. I mean, even with, you know, you have great people like Kendrick with To Pimp a Butterfly and Forest Hills Drive, and people are making these hip-hop records, which opens it up for somebody like me who's been doing that, you know what I mean? And like, it's just awesome. But with this next one, I just went so left because I was like, you know what, I really don't care what hip-hop or anybody has to say. I'm just going to be me to the fullest.
Well, you now already, by the way, that's similarly to Kendrick, you can do that. You have an audience that's waiting for it. They're going to go with you. They're going to take the ride with you, bro.
I'm blessed.
You'd have to really put out some dookie for these guys to not take the ride.
That's not happening.
Like that's what I'm saying. I've been at the shows. I've seen the way that they feel about you.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. So basically, you feel like you've already explained to people who Logic is, because people were confused at first.
Yes.
Who is this kid? The first album let people know who you are,
what I'm about,
and what you're about.
Yes.
And now this next album, you have the opportunity to really go on some futuristic different shit.
Yeah, it's like fun. It's, you know, a good time, and it's right now. It's weird because, you know, I won't get into the concept. You know it.
I do.
Because you got the exclusive. Because and I actually have to play some stuff. But anyway, it is very. It's like the music is what I'm going through now, because I've talked about the struggle, I talked about the come up, I talked about all that, and some people are like, well, what is there left to talk about? Because it's literally my whole life is in that first album. But I have had a million lifetimes since I released that in this industry. It's been crazy, you know, touring the world, seeing the craziest stuff. Even this will turn into a lyric, you know what I mean? Like, that's real. So all these amazing experiences, you know, getting married, the fact that I'm getting married, I got a little puppy, I got a corgi like you, we both have corgi.
Corgi bros.
Corgi bros.
You'll know about that.
So all these things, all these experiences, it's just what I'm putting into the record now, because I'm happier. I mean, not even like I wasn't happy, but it's just a bunch of music that you can bounce to and have a good time to and vibe out to, but it's real lyrics, and the concept of the album has nothing to do with the music. So that way I could approach it as a mixtape in a sense and just do a whole bunch of awesome ass, just fun songs like you would do when you're putting out a mixtape to build a fan base. But I made the concept something fun that I'll explain later, as opposed to the first album, which was extremely, the concept was my life. So I couldn't escape that. And I'm excited to see how it plays out.
One question about current events. Were you sitting around waiting to hear the Meek record?
Yes.
Like everyone else? And generally the consensus with everyone I've been talking to this weekend, obviously I've been getting asked about it quite a bit, is that, you know, I'm someone who's very much a fan of both.
Yep, totally, I agree.
But I also felt that where we're at now, should Meek not put anything else out, looking at it from a straight battle standpoint, it seems as if Drake got the best of this this situation. What did you think about Meek's record? My thought was just that it was like there was almost too much time to think about, too much of an opportunity, and it was a little bit overwhelming to listen to. Like I wanted just a simple boom, boom, boom.
I think with Twitter and the internet, beef is left to the people now. So it's like the people will make memes and clown and whatever. So it's like whoever, like whether you side with Meek, you're gonna make fun of Drake, I guess, as a fan or whatever. Or if you side with, Drake, you're gonna make fun of. Like, it's all a joke now. It's not serious. Whereas to some people, people would get murdered over stuff like this in the past. They have gotten murdered. Some of the most iconic people that shaped this genre of hip hop have been murdered because of
things
words.
that started in words. Yes.
Exactly, and it's like, but it's not really like that anymore. Really.
Well, so we hope.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think that things can happen, of course, but for the most part,
I'm hopeful that's the case.
Yeah,
but
same. I want these two guys to both do what they do
and make records.
But
you make a really great point, because in some senses the beef isn't really fair in any case. Like, I do think Drake made the better record. I don't think that his record was the illest battle record ever made. I posted today. I was like, listen, y'all want to hear a battle record? And I posted the video for Cannabis Second Round Knockout.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, listen, there are standards, but at the same time, you're right. With Drake's fan base, what it is, you're almost stepping into a situation that's unwinnable from a social standpoint, right? Because if someone has 10 million people who love them on social, and you have 3 million people who love you on social, it is going to appear, even if Meek could put out the record we all wanted, it might have been impossible.
Of course.
So that is a really interesting thing to point out about how different this is. We don't know what would Jay-Z and Nas have been if the entire world was able to comment on social.
It's different, exactly. And they didn't have to worry about that. And I think about that even when like artists create music, because I've hardened myself. So it's like, people will tell me, oh, you suck, your music sucks. People will be like, you're the greatest rapper ever in the whole world and you're amazing. And it's like, you can't.
You have to temper both.
Yeah, you gotta just, take it like it is. And the same can be said for this. So you have artists out, it's like a committee. So it's like, whoever has the bigger fan base or who's more talked about, it's not even more who's loved or hated or whatever it is, but it's like, we're talking about mainstream pop culture. Drake is the king. Drake is
he's
the
number
king.
one.
Yeah.
And I say this, knowing that, like, I admittedly say straight out, like, Kendrick's my favorite rapper in the game, probably, right? As all of us.
One of mine too.
Right, many of us feel this way. But all that being said, in terms of the role he plays, Drake's a pretty distant number one, right? As far as like running the clubs and pop culture. The man creates language that just goes, or he creates music that literally, if he puts out on Friday, it's in the club on Sunday and it's rocking.
So there's always like, what was it, like Takeover or Ether or what was it? And I think as like hip hop purists, like my personal opinion, I love Ether. Somebody could love Takeover and they could argue the fact that Takeover was played in the club, Takeover was played on the radio. Really, like, do you know what I'm saying? Not saying that Nas wasn't, especially in New York, but like the bigger, I guess, popular song. It's like, okay, some people will say, well, Jay-Z won because Takeover was so popular and it catered to that audience of the time of what was like the poppin' sounding kind of song. And I feel like Drake is kind of that kind of artist as well, who like, he just makes such appealing records. You know what I mean?
And also, that's a great point.
But I love them both.
And by the way, I'm a Takeover guy, so it's funny. But also looking back, every one of the battles we've ever had, for the most part, whoever had more power usually wins the battle, because it's so. Even though it wasn't social media back then, you can't tell me Cannabis didn't beat LL. He did, but it wasn't viewed that way. I comment today. Every tweet was like, "Yeah, but Cannabis took an L." I'm like, well, his album bombed, and no one gave a shit, and LL's still LL, of course. I was like, but the best thing that happened was Second Round Knockout. That was like, his verse on 4, 3, 2, 1 was fucking murder.
Yeah.
And then his Second Round Knockout, he had Mike Tyson in the video.
Which
like,
is insane.
Like he
insane.
So, but ultimately, LL, of course, won, because LL is here forever.
He's
you know,
LL
so
Cool J.
It's LL Cool J.
Yes.
So it is very interesting. Anyways, we could rap nerd all day. When can people look for an album?
We'll see, man.
You're not saying a time frame?
Not just yet. We'll find out.
And are you done touring? You're just doing these festivals now?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm done touring. I did the world tour, and then I've just been knocking out festivals, Europe, here, and this is my last one for a while. I think I'm pretty much done for the summer. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna
get married.
Work and get married and hang out.
Will the dog be at the wedding?
Yo, that is hilarious because Jessica, like my girl, she really wants him to be there, but at the same time, like, who's gonna take care of him?
So I can help you with this. So, well, there's two things. One, we brought the dog to the wedding. It had to be done.
You did?
Yes. Dog was at the wedding. Well, we did two things.
Did you put him in a tuxedo?
No. He ain't. But actually, you know what? He actually is pretty good with dog clothes. But we didn't do that to him. But, you know, I have my boy Mike, who we keep an eye on him, go check on him every once in a while, make sure he's good. There was like a room.
Ice sculpture.
Oh, well, that's when we get there. So we had a little room for him that he could like hang out, and we would just go check in with him every once in a while. But then we were planning the wedding, and at the place we did it, this beautiful place, Long Island on the water, they were like, well, we do ice sculptures here. Are you interested? And my wife and I were like, we don't need ice sculpture. Like, nah, we're good. And then I was like, wait a second. I was like, what can you do an ice sculpture of? They're like, anything. So I was like, all right. And we gave them a picture of Bear.
You did the dog?
And the dog was a huge, iconic ice sculpture at the wedding.
That
so
is pretty amazing.
I dare you to top it. I don't know if you can.
I don't know.
Maybe you can have him as your best man and give a speech. How smart is this corgi?
Yeah, he's pretty smart. Wait, can Bear do tricks?
Bear has Bear's
shake.
Whoa, shake hands.
Shake.
Okay. Paw. He has paw.
Yeah, shake, sit. Come here.
What, roll
bang.
Over? You have bang dead?
You got bang?
Nah.
I got bang.
Hold on. Do you have full rollover?
I don't have that yet. I haven't tried to do. I just focus on the bang because that's gang.
Yo, I gotta be honest. I want bang. Wait, is bang and instantly lays down?
Yeah, it's just like bang, and sometimes he'll be like, but he'll stay there, and I'll be like bang, and then he's like, it's hilarious.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Logic, Lollapalooza 2015, the Mitchell and Ness VIP Lounge.
Cool.
Awesome, bro.